Nadezda Snigireva is group voicing partner, and for me it's interesting how you specify the specialist on co-designing. The vector is quite specific. This is about involvement of citizens, of residents in the planning processes of the urban areas. We all know about, all remember about businesses, about state government, municipal government, and the designing process shouldn't be one-sided. And in my opinion, we need to change something here. Many design decisions which are made from top to bottom are obviously inefficient. So I would start from the successful, and my position is quite obvious here. Once we say that we want to work together with people, with residents, and we should understand, should it be a residential principle or target audience principle, or shall we evaluate those who will be impacted by that? And the most important thing is to work together with the society in terms of planning and to create groups and societies around positive things and not problems. A very fresh example from Wiksa city with a festival there. There was an art yard project. We involved people for the second time in this project. When we started to work with yards, people told us about very many problems, starting from the car traffic, which is not safe for children there, up to the coverings and pavements, which are of low quality. And the second blocks said that there were more problematic environment, degraded environment, drug addicts and alcoholics around. And one active woman wanted to change something. There were no community, as a matter of fact. And we decided if we would handle these problems, it would result in that people would get tired and they won't have any motivation, because it would be a very hard and long-term task to convince all people not to park their cars close to the doors. And we should develop some values or start to develop the existing ones. In the first case, in the good yard, we created a neighboring center, a small pavilion just in the street, which was to combine people, to make people opportunity to gather and discuss things. Because it turned out that people don't communicate except for people of 5 activists. And the main problem was that they don't have an opportunity and location to gather. And we decided to create this site for them, and through this perspective, and that was very quick, small project for 3 months, and people started to work on that. They built together this pavilion. They painted it with children, and they populated it with sense. And we give this opportunity to them to populate it with ideas. And they understood that the key problem was a lack of communication. We created a precedent, quite positive. That was a big party afterwards, and now kids play there around, and we really combined and connected people around something, not just discussing problems. In the second yard, the situation was much more complicated. We found a cultural center, and we found teenagers who were nothing to do there. Once we thought we can't work efficiently with the parents, we made a yard with the kids, and more older kids provided and built a place for playing for smaller kids, and they worked together with them. It's quite optimistic. At least something is optimistic. We can evaluate it only after 1 year. If we visit it after 6 months or 12 months from now. Here, people looked from different angle to their problems. So we didn't try to tell to kids that it's bad that their parents are drinking because they understand it anyhow. But we told them that you can do something yourself and you can achieve something. This is a very important factor to combine, not just overcome something, because very often it won't bring you some constructive result, but start to seek for constructive methods. And what's your motivation? Who is the owner of this? Who's the customer of these values? The festival Art of Rak, that was just our participation. The problem was, on our opinion, that projects were made by residents anyhow. But based on the results of the last year, they came to the mayor and saying that something was broken in our yard, please fix it. And we were invited to take part to explain that the value of neighborhood is not in solving just housing and utility problems, and it could be wider. And the customer was the festival, which translates ideas of combining people and not only development for the sake of the development, but to make people do something in their cities, and we wanted to pass them this toolkit. Nadezda, how and in which form, on your opinion, the city should interact with residents, with citizens and communities? Because communities not always means residents, and residents not always means communities. In which forms should this communication be organized? The city has a huge number of problems, and they need to find some compromises. I think maybe quite from a narrow angle but here you should have an individual approach. You should determine who are these people to influence and work in an individual way.
Because we cannot involve everybody in everything, and sometimes there are some researches conducted, but they do not have appropriate results because these people are not the team of this project. That's why it seems to me it's very important to identify the participants of these potential teams and to work with them individually. And what about deputies who have their own interests? I can say that I don't know this, but they are not involved into this activity. We have one president that he did not come, the deputy did not come. Maybe they participated somehow, but I did not know about this. And this was a direct dialogue happens not always. There are some deputies which are responsible for some regions. Maybe you can ask this deputy to help you. Yes, we were such a case, and this deputy, he responded this way, that he has pre-elections and pre-election campaign, and he said to me that now he does not have time to do this. So we did not work in a constructive way with them. So that is a key idea. We should combine not only to fight somebody, but also to create some new ideas.